Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I thought we could check out the 1972 sci-fi film, Silent Running. Please like and subscribe, and let's get to it. In the future, Earth's ecosystems only exist in large domes in space. Botanist Freeman Lowell is enjoying one of these pods, swimming and feeding some rabbits. His fellow crew members John, Andy, and Marty are driving around in carts and pissing Freeman off as they damage his plants. The men race around, crashing into one another. Lowell believes that one day they will refoliate the planet with the plants from the domes. We pull out and get a nice look at the space stations, as well as various robots that work along with the humans. The men sit and enjoy a friendly game of poker. Lowell, however, takes a pot with a nice full house. They start to argue over the project, and Lowell believes that one day they'll start to repopulate the Earth's plant life. Otherwise, it'll all be lost to time itself. The men are all sitting around the communications unit and are receiving an announcement. They've been given orders to abandon and nuclear destruct all of the forests. It starts at 9 in the morning and Lowell is beyond hurt. No one loves the plants like he does. The others rejoice as they finally get to go home, but Lowell thinks the whole thing is insane. Lowell enters a dome, taking in the sights and sounds for one last time. We can see Saturn off in the distance as Lowell walks by. They're in the kitchen and will be out 6 miles before the pods are detonated. John is a little too excited and wants a front row seat. They openly mock Lowell for eating cantaloupe and he loses it on them. What would they know about real food? This cantaloupe calls back to a time when flowers grew on Earth. The planet has become a barren, boring slog. Everything is the same. There's no beauty or imagination. But the other men just simply don't care. Lowell begs them to please not blow up the domes, but John tells them they have no choice. Lowell's frustration is growing minute by minute. The 3 men are looking for a tube in one of the domes. Marty falls, injuring his hand, and they tell him to go see Lowell. He finds Lowell and they head to the medical room. There's a page overhead saying they need to perform a safe distancing maneuver from the other pods, and Marty tells Lowell he's going to need his help with that. But Lowell isn't talking. Lowell, however, reluctantly starts to help Marty. Their station starts to head off away from the others, and Andy and John find the tube they were looking for and load the bomb, readying it to explode. They're preparing some more bombs and wondering where Lowell is. A large explosion rumbles their ship, and we see one of the domes in the distance explode. Another dome explodes, lighting up the darkness of space. The domes are being jettisoned from their station one by one. Lowell watches in horror as one floats off. It explodes and Lowell continues his gardening. He's becoming more stressed with each exploding dome. Yet another explosion and Lowell says no. John pulls up in a cart and Lowell, while holding a shovel, tells him he's not coming in here. Lowell says, "You're not blowing up my forest?" And the men start to fight. Lowell grabs the shovel and chokes John with it, killing him. He looks deranged now. Lowell takes the bomb and a robot looks at John's body. The other 2 men are preparing a pod and Lowell launches it off into space. It explodes, killing the other 2 men, leaving Lowell alone on the station. He's bleeding heavily from a wound and creates a tourniquet with a wire. There's a radio transmission asking if everything is okay, and Lowell lies, telling them everything is fine. He flips on some monitors and tells drones 1, 2, and 3 to meet in the main cargo area. There's another transmission asking what the holdup is, saying they want to go home. Lowell tells them they're trying, as he positions the station behind Saturn. He radios them saying he has an emergency. He says there's been a premature explosion in the cargo deck and he can't find the other men. They tell him on his current trajectory he's going to hit Saturn's outer rings. Lowell falls over from the pain in his leg and calls over drone number 1. He uses it to help himself stand back up. Lowell finds a manual for the drones and is going to reprogram them. He's adding a medical program so they can fix his leg. He calls them over to the medical bay where they're going to perform the surgery. He's given anesthesia while the other drones get to work on his leg. Lowell is back at the radio and tells them there isn't much that he can do. They tell him they can't stop him from hitting the ring and best they can do is send a rescue party around the long way, but it's like finding a needle in a haystack. A warning alarm starts sounding, rocking the station. Lowell is falling over due to the excessive rocking. They're caught in the rings of Saturn. The drones are outside and Lowell tells Drone 3 to keep moving, but it's lost to the rings. The equipment sparks as the station is being rocked. They make it through though, everything just barely intact. Lowell is at a sink and remembers John's body is still in the dome. He commands the drones to dig a hole for John's body to be buried. They place his body in the hole, but Lowell tells them to wait as he wants to say something before he's covered. Lowell is having a hard time coping with what he's done, but he feels he had to do it to save what was left. The drones cover him and we see outside the station. Lowell makes an announcement to the drones. He's renamed them. Drone 2 is Huey, Drone 1 is Dewey, and Drone 3 would have been Louie. Lowell reprogrammed the drones to take direct command from him and to help him more in the forest. The 3 of them are in the dome and they're going to plant a tree together. The drones don't exactly do the best job and Lowell scolds them. They're outside the ship and the drones are sad about the loss of Louie. Lowell tells them this is what happens when you're careless. He's in the dome and is looking up at Earth through a telescope. Lowell thinks back to the other men, and I think the loneliness and guilt is starting to get to him. He's creating new programs for the drones and asks them to come to the recreation room. They're gonna have a friendly game of poker, but Lowell gets wrecked by Huey, who has a full house. Lowell heads to the forest to grab some fresh food, but finds the plants are starting to die. He checks a leaf under the microscope, but can't figure out what's going on. Lowell is watching Huey's monitor and tells him to take a sample of the dirt. He asks the robot to wait there and he'll be right down. Lowell drives off in a cart and runs straight into Huey, who is supposed to take the sample. Lowell and Dewey bring Huey to the medical room to hopefully repair him. He opens a panel and the robot recoils, almost as if it's in pain. Lowell does the best he can, but Huey will never be 100% again. Lowell is sleeping and he begins receiving a radio transmission. The search party has found him and will be there in 6 hours. However, Lowell realizes the plants are dying because they're too far from the sun. He installs lights that work as a stand-in for the sun, hoping to save the forest. It's up to Dewey now to save and maintain the forest. Lowell can't handle the mental stress and Huey is too damaged. He fires off the final dome, saying his goodbye to Dewey. Lowell reminisces over some childhood memories and everything he's done and lost. He sits and readies one of the bombs. We pull out from the ship as Lowell sets the bomb off, ending his grief. We see the final dome with Dewey taking care of the plants as the film comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thank you all for watching and take care.